public interest, rather than just a story that might interest the public, and those are two different things, then publication should be permitted. It's a very difficult judgment, I think, and of course the judges are getting it in the neck quite a lot.
Just on the Hugh Grant, I mean, did he? I know he was asked about it. Did he say anything about his encounter in Los Angeles? What was it in 1995?
With Ms. Divine Brown. Emily Maitlis was tactless enough to ask him about this, but according to the Mail on Sunday, he sidestepped. They described his performance on Newsnight as being erratic and at times overwrought. I don't think he had a lot to say about Ms. Brown, but he did have quite a lot to say about other people.
What do you think? Actually, the Divine Brown episode and the way that Hugh Grant dealt with that at the time, in some senses with the making of him, I think he went on Jay Leno and did this whole mea culpa, and it in fact made his star bigger in some senses.
He handled it very well. He obviously had good advice. He was very frank and open, and as you say...
But also highlights the issue, even back then, that would happen in the United States, where presumably you wouldn't have been able to get a Supreme Judge.
Well, the Americans...
out anyway, and we've now got, we've now got global communications networks and Twitter and...
Twitter's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
how the courts cope with that, I'm not sure.
They can't. You can't put a writ on a virus. I mean, the point is that Twitter and the internet make injunctions almost unenforceable around the world. You can find out anything you want to find out about these celebrities by switching on your computer. You don't need to read the Mail on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you want to tell me about Jessica Ennis, don't you, Jane?
Yes, well, today... I think for the past few years they've been putting on a street race, which is quite fun, in Manchester, where they basically lie out some tartan and then they get some of the best athletes in the world down there, and people can just, in the middle of the town centre, I think, and people can just turn up and watch.
Okay, sounds good. What's the issue with the tartan, though, in Manchester?
Well, obviously for everyone to run on. You can't run on the...
tartan, I see.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the Scottish link.
No.
This you've been an athlete. You see, I'm going, what?
Sorry, the track that everyone runs on. But yeah, so Jessica Ennis is back competing. Obviously, it's quite interesting for me being someone getting ready for the Olympics. She was supposed to do the European indoors in March, but she pulled out with an ankle injury. And obviously, she's our big hope for the gold medal in 2012 next year. But it's quite interesting to me because in 2008 she was on a really good track to go to the Olympics in Beijing and do really well, but she had to have an operation on her ankle, so I wonder if it's the same injury just flaring up.
What kind of feeling, because it's going to build and build and build, isn't it, this sense of expectation. It always happens in this country when we go to the World Cup, 2 weeks before, we're going to win it. We never do. It's like the Eurovision Song Contest last night, Blue were going to do well, not quite, but the Olympics, it's going to be that, absolutely blown large. I mean, do you think, knowing what you know from inside British athletics, we're going to get a bumper crop, a record medals?
I think that we're going to do really well. I mean, I think that we know how to put on, even though everyone doesn't think so, I think we know how to put on a good event, and I think
the organisation's another thing, it's the medal haul.
Well, I think we're going to, but I think there's going to be a lot of surprises, and the thing I'm slightly worried about with Jessica is that there's so much pressure on her, and in this country we love to put pressure, and it's kind of, there's so much pressure on her, and she does heptathlon, which is 7 events, and the injuries are very likely, and this one coming up, and if I think back to Beijing, Liu Zhang, which was he's a 110 metre hurdler for China, and I think I heard he would have definitely probably got on that top 100 rich list. He earned $25 million going into it just from sponsorships because he was the big gold medal hope, and he pulled up with a hamstring injury in the first round. So I'm just really hoping.
How can you focus this?
I know. I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Jessica.
We really hope that. Chuka, you've got the NHS reports, and this is in the Observer about
this is really
the
worrying.
Private sector.
This is very worrying indeed. I mean, the headline is NHS reforms are a chance to make big profits, say the PM's advisor, and this is a gentleman called Mark Britnell, who's part of the Prime Minister's kitchen cabinet on the NHS. I mean, the first thing I would say about this, I mean, in some senses, Andrew Lansley has become the Prime Minister's fall guy on these issues, when actually the Prime Minister has been left, right and centre in moving forward with these reforms, and that's a point that the Health Secretary has actually made in the Sunday Times today. But this advisor, he is coming out with things. I mean, he said that the NHS will be shown no mercy, is what he says. Now, I know in my constituency of Streatham, I have not spoken to one clinician, I haven't spoken to one person who uses the NHS who has indicated they have